put him down to bed on schedule.
I see. Yeah, he put on a good display at least.
Yeah. I think he's on his way. It usually takes about 5-10 minutes of rolling around and sometimes yelling, and then he goes to sleep around 1 o'clock.
Okay.
How's it going? How's Illinois?
Illinois, yeah, it's fine. Weather's a little, um, it's raining a little bit outside.
Uh,
I think I would like to. Uh, I'm new to I'm new to Zoom. Kind of. I've
sure.
only had a little bit of experience with the court system,
Okay.
with judges, hearings, and then also my lawyer. I've never been able to like get a recording off of the Zoom before. I'm
Okay.
interested in getting a copy of this recording. Is that possible? I have to.
Yeah, let me so because I was the meeting host, I think I have the ability to record, but I need to look at the options here because
Yeah, because I don't even see it. There's just nothing.
let's see.
Start video.
Well, you could start video too so that you could show your face, like if you wanted to be on video,
Okay.
but that's not recording.
GoPro webcam. Oh, I see. Okay. I wonder. I wonder if it's because I'm actually see what I've been doing in the past is trying to be sneaky.
Hmm.
Let's see.
Can you see? You can see me now, right?
I'm trying. Yes, I'm trying to be sneaky and record on OBS and also Audacity because that's what I've had to do with the court system.
Yeah. Well, look,
So you can't see
if
me.
you have a way of recording it, of course I have no problem with it.
Okay, I'll be doing that. I think I might be stealing the camera.
What do you
Okay,
mean?
you also I am yeah, I'm so sorry. Could share a recording or
Yes.
what do you think
I
about
yeah, I could share an audio recording of it as well if you want.
or no the video?
See, I don't know how to because I'm doing this on my phone. I
Okay.
don't know if it's an
Yeah.
option to record on your phone. I know it is on the computer, but I don't think it's an
Okay.
option for me to record this on my phone.
Okay. Yeah, on OBS you're just a white blank screen. So Zoom it has blocked me in the past too, so
Okay.
I guess that's there's Zoom has a software protection of some kind. That's unfortunate. So only audio. Okay.
But
Yeah.
I can send you the audio of this if you'd like.
Oh, I'm recording
Okay.
audio. I just kind of wanted video. I guess it'd just be a video of myself,
Right.
whatever. And and then you could see me. I can see me, but you can't see me
I can't see you. No.
because I'm actually stealing the camera uh, for for the OBS.
Okay.
Um, I don't know. I well, okay. I'll stop there, Carl. I'll play with. I'm playing. I'm trying to learn this too. So let me. I'll stop the OBS because I'm recording actually on audio on. Geez, the Audacity is only recording you. So now at this point, only you'll share the audio with me. Yeah, I'll
Yeah.
request that you share that audio with me.
You got it. I'll send it to you right when we're
Okay.
done.
So then we have both. Okay, there I am.
And then you
Okay.
can match it all up.
Match it up.
I,
I don't.
you're saying you
That's
can't.
fine to me.
You,
Oh yeah, match it. Yeah.
like you can use my audio and your video or however you want to do it.
Yeah, I got a video. I got a video recorder. Yeah. Okay. So that's that. Okay. Yeah. All right. Yeah, because I've had issues with recording. Like when I was in Judge Roosted's court
Hmm.
and we did the Zoom hearing, it was like I was not about to ask for a copy of the recording
Hmm.
for our hearing. I knew what he would say. He announced there's no recording to be done in the courtroom,
Hmm.
so I didn't even bother with that, and I tried to be sneaky, getting my own recording, and I got in trouble for that. This isn't. This is the prosecutor was the tattletale.
Okay.
Of course, they're the tattletales for our First Amendment rights. I mean, people talk about how cops are so oppressive about our rights, but look at the prosecutors.
Hmm.
They're the cops tattletale to the prosecutors, and the prosecutors tattletale to the judges. And so I actually had a warrant out for my arrest because
Wow.
I had a it was when you in court, it's contempt of court.
Yeah. Hey, Travis, sorry. Can you hold for 1 second? My brother's calling and I got to take it.
All right.
Just give me 2 minutes.
Oh, 2 minutes. Okay.
Sorry.
Hey,
What's up?
I just want to run down what I need to know. So it's the upstairs fridge.
Yeah.
Okay. And the guy today, he's not installing the fridge, right? He's doing something else.
No, he is making a Bema's water connection in the kitchen so that it can fit this fridge.
Okay. So does the fridge need to be pulled out? Where is this connection?
It's behind the fridge. He'll pull it out.
Okay. That's it. All
Yep.
right. Thank you.
Yep. Hey, Travis, sorry about that. Can you hear me?
Yeah, that's fun. That kind of takes the wind out of the sails. I was really getting going.
No, my bad. Yeah, so
And
I'm
that's fine.
y-
That's what happens at trial. The prosecutor will say objection. You're on a train of thought, and suddenly it gets disrupted by the prosecutor, and
well,
when you're in
yeah.
when you're in trial.
Yeah. Well, let me tell you about what I want to write about
Okay.
and sort of introduce myself. So I cover criminal justice and police reform. And
Memphis too.
yep. I'm
Because
on the Tyree Nichols story sort of permanently to its conclusion. So I've been to Memphis a few times, and I cover a lot of police brutality cases. Um, but I like to mix it up because those stories are really depressing, obviously. And
yeah,
personally, I've gotten very into watching um, people who flex their First Amendment rights and Second and Fourth and Fifth Amendment rights on YouTube. And I know that you've had I've seen early videos where you kind of have issues with the term auditor, so I don't like to use auditor to encompass everybody. Um,
yeah,
but folks who exercise those rights to the extent that police are uncomfortable with, citizens are uncomfortable with, and put it on YouTube, I am very interested in writing about those people. So I stumbled upon your videos, and I think that they're so unique because this strategy of, instead of just saying no, right, I'm not going to give you my identification, you offer to trade because
yeah,
the idea is that, well, this should be a consensual encounter because I haven't done anything wrong, right? So if you want to
yeah,
consensually trade IDs, then that's great. um
yeah.
and so I wanted to talk to
It,
you about kind of how you started, how you got into this, how you developed your sort of technique, for lack of a better word, and why this is important to you to be defiant in this way that a lot of people choose not to. Um,
okay.
and so I guess the first thing I would want to ask you is like, when did you realize that every time you encountered police officers, you wanted to record it and be as defiant within the law as you could?
Yeah, you could see the gradual change in my dialogue over the years on
Yeah.
YouTube.
Yeah.
Uh, and it started in 2015, and it was, I forget the name of the city in Washington, right on the West Coast. Maybe I could find it on Google Maps. But I handed over my ID. I recorded it. I told the cop I thought he was, well, he didn't need to be asking me all these questions. I didn't like it. That's all I did. I still handed my ID when he asked. I was parked in a Walmart parking lot. Um, but after I posted that video, I had people in comments say, "Oh, why don't you just give them a urine test?" It's like, "Oh, why'd you stop at just giving them your ID?" People are just egging me on. So this is a back this is a like comment motivated reaction. I was reacting. I was thinking like, how can I change uh, my my response to cops to appease in a way the audience.
Yeah.
All right, it was a small audience back then. This link I think it started with an L, some city. It's a video on YouTube. That was like kind of a turning point with this cop in the Walmart parking lot. And in the comment section particularly, that they got me thinking.
Mhm.
Um, and I had a few cop interactions before that. I was handing my ID over, but it's like it wasn't enough for the cops.
Mm.
It's never enough. You
Mhm.
answer some questions, they have more. You answer some questions, they have more questions and more questions, and it just gets more and more personal. I didn't like it. Where are you coming from? Where are you going? Where do you work? Just where do you live?
Mhm.
It's just there's all these personal questions. If you just keep answering, they'll keep asking. So I put a stop to it right at the ID. I
Mhm.
just started getting more into legal arguments rather than just answering all their. It seems like recreational questions. It
Mm.
really, I mean, because a lot of times they'd stop in my car. I was parked in just some random spots, the library, a little too late at nights, Walmart's, a park, and so either they're called. I mean, I believe that some were called, some show up on their own, knock on my car, and then just start asking questions. And it happens a lot. It's a part of their training. So I start forming my own questions because they've trained me. Cops trained me on how to act.
Mhm.
They've and in the comments too. Comments are a big help.
Yeah.
You look, you read the comments after you. Do you post videos?
I've posted, TikToks before, and, the comments were
Yes.
just kind of annoying.
The comments can be annoying.
Yeah.
Okay, on TikTok.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
yeah, I do a little TikTok.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just yeah, they're annoying, but also in between the annoying ones, you could find some good gems.
Mhm.
There's some genuine people out there who want to see positive change, more positive outcome.
Mhm.
Yeah, you may if you have trolls, you're doing a good job.
That's true.
So I have my trolls who are consistently um, criticizing me with everything I do. Beyond they've like I post other types of videos, travel videos and whatnots, and the trolls have also found the other videos. Also, like a health channel, and they'll find ways of trolling me in that. It doesn't stop at just cops. But the questions from cops, it just they get too personal. And on camera too. I mean, uh, it yeah it was a little bit of a turning point, and I was forming in my head. I was trying to figure out how could I turn this around on cops. All right, with they want to ask me all these questions. Well, I also would like to find out this same information about you. What's your date of birth? Where do you live? Do you have a
Mhm.
family?
Mhm.
How long have you been on the force? Just I'll turn the questions around on them,
Mhm.
and pretty immediately now. I was a little hesitant in about 2015, 2016. You could kind of maybe hear the little shaking in my voice because I
Mm.
was a little hesitant about turning questions around on them
Mhm.
a lot of times, and it's led to arrests for me too. Some cops have a very short fuse
Mhm.
with citizens questioning them, and I mean I got to the point where it's like, well, I'm poor. Yeah, I don't know. I'm older. I'm more willing to go to jail over standing on my grounds with trying to create an even playing field between us.
Mhm.
I don't care what they're wearing. It's I want, with every interaction between me and somebody, I want an even playing field. So I've kind of, yeah, I've pushed back in that way.
Mhm.
So the turn happened 2015, and then my first arrest happened in about 2016. Well, yeah, 2016,
Mhm.
twice in Idaho. So Boise, around Boise, Idaho. Just, um, yeah, I was, yeah, like 2016, I was hanging out in a parking lot in Lowe's, the home store, and
Mhm.
cops show up saying I was parked there late at night and it was suspicious. They wanted my ID, so I asked for his ID, and he's like, "I'm not giving you my ID." And yeah, it was back and forth like that, and then the cop just left. But then a couple days later, my car was kind of broken down.
Mhm.
I didn't tell the cops that, but then a couple days later, they show up. They were a little angry about that video. They saw me there again, so they gave me a ticket. And I actually kind of pled guilty to that, and got. I accepted 8 hours of community service,
Mhm.
and this was a disorderly conduct charge. I accepted it, and that was the last time I would accept. That's the last time I would plead guilty. Um, a couple months later, I had an incident, and I fought it all the way through. Since that early 2016, about May 2016, pleading, where I agreed to like pour to work to volunteer at a warehouse for a food bank, but yeah, since then I've had about 5 arrests, and they've all been dismissed so far. But this Louisiana one is still active. It's at the
Mhm.
Supreme Court right now.
Mhm.
About 95 days. They've had my case on their desk for 95 days. No, I don't know.
Who's your lawyer for that one?
What's that?
Who's your lawyer for that one?
Oh yeah, I got Phil Adams,
Okay.
and I told him that I was going to be talking to you,
Uh-huh.
and he responded because this is I paid what $15,000 for him, but this is from a GoFundMe.
Uh-huh.
This GoFundMe was generated while I was in jail, and it was thanks to Robert Parker. He set it up,
Mhm.
and yeah, this case, yeah, it's cost almost $20,000. But yeah, Phil Adams, he's a responsive lawyer. Yeah, he's not he supports civil rights,
Mhm.
but it's not his. I don't think it's his primary job as a lawyer. I think he's more an injury lawyer.
Sure. And what city is he based out of?
Shreveport, Louisiana.
Okay.
Philip Adams. Yeah, he's my current lawyer right
G
now,
Gotcha.
and he said it was okay to talk to you. Just don't disparage the judges in Louisiana right now. It's any that I may have to face.
Got it. Okay.
Just say it's an unfair situation, but don't go into too much detail about that.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So
Okay.
it,
Let me
yeah.
let me ask you, um, when did you start living out of your car?
Oh
And the follow-up is, did police attention immediately come from that, or was there a period where you were able to sort of fly under the radar?
man, that's a good question. I was I ran out of money. I'm a lazy bum. Right. And that was 10 years ago.
Uh-huh.
I lived in Race Lake, Wisconsin for a year in my car, and the battery died. I never drove it. I just sat in one spot, and the cops were forgiving. I think the police chief, since he graduated a year below me, and my cousin was married to his sister, there was a close connection there. I
Mhm.
think he was forgiving. I think he told the other patrols to like give me some slack,
Mhm.
and I appreciated that. I was under the impression that cops were pretty cool,
Mhm.
since they were leaving me alone while I was sleeping in my car every night. Over a year through the negative 15-degree weather in the winter time, and then the extreme heat, almost 100-degree days in the summer.
Mhm.
In my car, I wanted to challenge myself, and I've watched other homeless people. I think it's kind of rare that homeless people want to challenge themselves living out in the environment. Most are associated most more with drugs and addictions,
Sure.
problems. I wanted to challenge myself, and it's just little things, little habits. Like I see you play with the string.
Yeah.
I sew with a speedy stitcher,
Okay.
and I was making like clothing for the winter time. I had super thick clothing, so I was challenging myself trying to sleep in that negative 15-degree weather
Mhm.
in Rice Lake, Wisconsin, and it was rough. But I was doing that, and they were leaving me alone. Sometimes there was a call, but there was one incident I never recorded. It was like 2013. The chief Roost. His name's Steve Rue.
Mhm.
Um, if you want to check that out.
I will, yeah.
What's that?
I will. Mhm.
You will.
Well, you said
Oh,
if you want me to check it
if
out.
you wanted to, and you're like very thorough.
Oh, well, yeah, I mean, I think.
This is the city where I got arrested over child pornography on
Okay.
the computer.
Okay.
That's the police department that investigated me in about 2005.
Okay.
So if you want to be very thorough, you could ask them about that. I tell everybody if they want to, ask me about this child pornography charge, talk to the police
Yeah.
because they're the ones who did their investigation and then they dropped the case.
Uh-huh.
They gave me my computer back and dropped the case.
Uh-huh.
So if you want details about that, apparently they have a report, and I think it sounds like they've been getting contacted numerous times about it because there's various trolls who want to give me a hard time still about
Okay.
this incident. That was when I used to own a house. Actually owned a house in Rice Lake from I don't know, 1999 to 2008,
Mhm.
roughly, right before that kind of the downturn. I owned a house for 8 years, and then sold it. Had a lot of money because I bought it free and clear. Um, because I made that money from the stock. It wasn't from hard work. It was from that stock market rush of the early 2000s. The excitement going into 2000 with the computer age technology. There was a run up on the stock market, and I benefited from that long period.
Mhm.
And then I lived off of that. So I'm very lazy. I live off of investments,
Mhm.
small investments too. I could have done more, but things balance out the way they do.
Mhm.
And yeah, I he they yeah they knew me. I mean, it was I think I was kind of protected living there, and then an incident happens in Rice Lake that kind of drove me out of the city.
Okay.
The librarians, and I'm in a library now, and they had this problem with a bad smell, and I know it wasn't me. It was like there was this magic the card gathering group that would show up, and I noticed an odor coming from at the time that they show up and all that,
Mhm.
and the librarian started having this spray that I had trouble like my handling is like chemicals. I'm sensitive. I have a chemical sensitivity,
Okay.
so I complained about that. It was like it was on a motor. I turned it off, and the librarians are like, "You don't turn that off. You keep that on." And I'm like, "I didn't say anything. I turned it off." And they see that I turned it off again, so they called the cops. And then that was a downturn from there.
Okay.
Librarians calling the cops on you.
Yeah.
That turns the cops sour against you. And I started getting parking tickets, and just I pretty much was run out of the city. And that was early, 2012 or so.
Okay.
I never really had a good camera. I never really recorded and uploaded like I do now. So back then, but I had incidents that could have been recorded, but I was so nervous.
Mhm.
In the early 2000s, I was nervous about recording. I mean, I've tried when I owned my house, and I was trying to rent it out. I had bad renters, and the cops were called. And I had just a little camcorder that was film, like just not digital,
Mhm.
and recording on tape. And I don't know. The cops just said you can't record. and so I was trying to hide the camera as I was recording. But that was back when you had nowhere to publish your videos.
Yeah.
Now, it's just like I wouldn't record the cops so much back in the early 2000s because there's nowhere to really publish these videos that I knew of. So I just but now it's so easy.
Yeah.
It's things have really changed it's not just a recording, also where you can post that'll get you an audience too.
Mhm. Mhm.
That really uh, full, really completes the journey for a video, not just record it, but also have a medium to send it
Sure.
to reach audiences. Um, but if I had known, if I could predict the future that there would be a medium like this, I certainly would have been more into recording cops
Yeah.
back in the early days. I'm an older person. I live without the internet. How old are you?
I'm 36.
36. Okay, you're 10 years younger than me, roughly.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, you've lived in the realm of the internet a little bit more than me.
Yeah.
I've lived. Yeah. So yeah, my perspective is more old fashioned.
Yeah. You encounter, officers who quickly, I think, realize they're not gonna get anything from you, realize that they've overstepped in some way, and then want to get out of the conversation, and then you have this wonderful ability of keeping the conversation going,
Oh yeah,
and
yeah. I get. I
your
try to
commenters say that you've detained them.
Yeah, people say that, and I see you caught on to that idea. You read the comments,
Yeah, oh,
right?
yeah.
You're not making these observations off of just watching the videos. You're seeing that other people are saying this too.
Yeah, oh, yeah.
And yeah, that's an interesting way of looking at it. I just want to travel and look around different places, get familiar with them, and if a cop stops to talk, and I've had some good time to get familiar with the area, I kind of want to talk about it.
Yeah.
It's kind of like reading a book. Traveling for me is going to a different place, and it's almost like reading a book, getting familiar with the landscape and the things in the area.
Mhm.
And then afterward, I want to talk about the book a
Mm.
little bit, talk about their city, what I've seen, what I've learned about it so far. And yeah, there's when you do that as a traveler, there's going to be some topics to discuss with cops. And I look at them kind of as ambassadors of the
Mhm.
city.
Mhm.
They're the first. A lot of times they're about the only person I've actually talked to in the city, or the first person I talked to in the city. And so I treat them as kind of I don't call them ambassadors, and they're grilling me about criminal issues, and here I'm trying to treat them as though they're ambassadors. Um, they're the representatives for the local city governments, and I want to maybe learn cool places to go where they think they like to go, or what they think of their city, the crime. I like to ask them about the crime in the area.
Mhm.
I'm 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 trying to I generally don't like to go up to strangers in the city and make small talk too much. I
Mhm.
just it's I'm not a very conversational person with that. Just trying to get information out of strangers. I feel like a lot of people may lie. They may withhold information. If, a stranger from outside of town comes up to them and starts asking them about their town. I don't. I'll just go out and learn about it myself.
Yeah.
And if somebody does, and random people approach me, not cops approach me, that goes on my cop channel. If a random person approaches me and just wants to talk, that'll go on my travel channel.
Mhm.
There'll be very different styles of conversation there too. It's
Have you had the same car this whole time?
yep, yep.
And what is your car? What's the make and model?
It's Ford Focus 2004,
How many miles you got on it?
123,000.
Okay. And
Yeah,
do you remember how many miles you had on it before you started living in it?
yeah. It was about 60,000 back in 2008.
Okay.
Think yeah, I bought it in San Diego in 2008. After I sold my house, I went there, and Yeah, I just held on to it. I ripped out the inside. There's no seats. There's no inside door paneling. They put so much wasteful
Yeah.
plastic inside those cars. I don't need those little features, the luxury features, a radio, uh, little shelves. I just need space
Yeah.
for my knees to be able to turn around. And I've created some pretty good space in the past month now, taking out the door panels
Yeah.
to make it more comfortable. I was getting health problems like back problems, and just it just when you're limited in your range of motion, like living in a car, it affects your health that in a bad way.
Yeah.
And you got to open up the energy, and my left side, is very constricted because of the door and stuff. But removing the door panel has helped. Just a couple extra inches, and
Yeah.
it really makes a good difference. So I don't. What's that?
Oh, no, go ahead.
I don't need to upgrade. I all I need to do is make more space in this car.
Yeah.
Was that was my problem for all these years while living in it. I should have had that space immediately. Should have cleared out more than I did. A lot sooner than I did. The roof, that the whole carpeting on the roof, and the tracks for the sunroof. Yeah, all of that should have gone out a lot sooner. Yeah, because there's a lot of waste. There's just like I'm fighting the luxuries that my ancestors fought to make. Their ancestors were, 100 years ago were desiring these types of luxuries. Now I'm fighting against
You're
it.
scaling back, yeah. How so
Yeah,
so how many states have you been to?
I've been a whole western half,
Okay.
pretty much.
So
Up to the Mississippi River.
uh-huh.
And I was in the military, so I mean, I was also in like New Jersey for some training, but yeah, I don't know the eastern half, and I want to learn it. I'm very interested in discovering the eastern half. See, as long as my health holds up, I want to explore the whole country.
Yeah.
I've been up and down the whole every state, through the Rocky Mountains, the Sonoran Desert. Very, very interesting.
Yeah.
with
Do
with
you f do you find that any particular part of the country or any particular type of community is more hostile or less hostile? I'm talking about
Oh
like
yeah, for sure. Yeah,
yep.
there's
Yeah.
a definite difference between community to community. One community could be hostile, and the next very welcoming.
Mhm.
You get one community may not have any food bank, the other does. One may have some homeless people that just you see around, and another one has cops up and down the streets very very forcefully. It's community to community, and that goes back to the Lewis and Clark expedition days. If you read the Lewis and Clark journals, you'll see it, that they even said it's very different from one Indian tribe to the next as they
Mhm.
traveled on their way to the west coast, and it's still the same in modern day from one community to the next. You notice a pretty good shift in the culture. It's just different people live in different areas. You may have a strong German culture in one city, and then
Sure.
a strong maybe Mexican culture in the next city. It depends on the industry, and there's a lot of factors. Um, but, sometimes there can be maybe an individual cop who's going rogue too. It's it's a lot of factors involved.
Do you find that, younger cops are any more or less, understanding or, respective of your rights than older cops?
Yeah, our younger cops more understanding of our rights. I am not sure about that.
Mhm.
Um, More understanding, because yeah, they don't have as much experience. Um, the difference between older and younger. There, I've been. I'd say, what do you consider older and younger? Because I think everybody. every time I've been arrested, the 5 times I've been arrested, everybody's been over 30 years old at least.
Okay. I guess
So
I'm just wondering because you've encountered so many officers, if you see patterns in the way you're treated based on the experience of the officer.
yeah, and I can't really tell their experience. I need to ask better questions about I try to ask them how long they've been on the force, but
Mhm.
I don't know if that's a very good predictor of much. Yeah, what do you what kind of clues can you look for? It's possible the blue line flag might be a good symbol that there might be a little ego behind their motivate something the blue line. Yeah, there's certain things that they may wear, I guess, that may indicate their attitude towards you in some way.
Mhm.
That blue line is, I don't know. It's been around for a while. I didn't start noticing the blue line flags until maybe it's 2017 or
Yeah,
so. It's when I
yeah.
really, I think, started noticing those. They seem fairly new, I think.
So you think
Is
that
that
may be a good predictor for getting a little bit more hostility from a cop when you see one of those?
just let's see. They just want the law is the law. They just want to just hostility. They want to see people punished
Mhm.
for disobeying the law.
Mhm.
There's hmm, yeah, there's really strong support organizations under that kind of person, that is very it's oh man, it's really hard to think through. Yeah, yeah, they have a certain attitude, and they support each other.
Mhm.
Um, uh, and as it does it show up in the entire community? It, like in Cook Hill, Oregon,
Mhm.
um, the the city hall was like inside the police station. You
Mhm.
had to like talk to a police desk sergeant to be able to talk first. You had to talk to a police desk sergeant before you could talk to the mayor or
Mhm.
anybody else in government.
Mhm.
They had all in one building there. Uh, yeah, it just it's a yeah, it's kind of. I mean, I would think it might fall on a lot on the politicians on how they they want their police to act. They're the ones giving the permissions to the cops to act a certain way.
Mhm.
I mean, the cops have to have. I mean, they they uh, they want to please the hand that feeds it. They
Sure.
want to they want to make the superiors happy for them, and it's like yeah, and they may see me as just a peon to get pushed around, and I don't pay the cops, right? So
Mhm.
they don't see me as their paycheck. They see their chief, the mayor, just the people that hired him. They don't really see me as the outsider too. They don't see me as important. It's kind of like when I went to Walmart. I got kicked out of a Walmart, and I was told only trucks only, and uh, it's like the employees there. I think we're kind of narrow minded. It's like you're saying that the truckers are more important than the shoppers.
Mhm.
It's like that. I think there's some people that have that kind of disconnect with who's more important to be on this land and this
Yeah.
property.
Well, I think to me, your videos express this larger point that I think is reflective in our society in all sorts of different ways that we have criminalized not having a house.
Yeah, yeah. It's not easy to live outside of a house. It is much easier on the West Coast. That's
Mhm.
why you have so many homeless. The weather stays nice year round.
Mhm. Hey, I can't talk. I'm doing an interview. Hey, sorry about that. It kicks you out after 40 minutes.
Yeah, 40. Okay. Yeah, my free version is done.
Yeah, yeah. Um,
All right.
Everything good on your end? Are you still? Can you start
Yeah.
recording?
Okay. I can hear and see you. So yeah, there's that.
Okay.
What are there many? What else? Have I answered everything or
Yeah, yeah.
yes?
Do you, I think that as I write stories, I'm always trying to think about how the audience will respond to them, right?
Yeah.
Um, and I think that
Yeah.
there's
You
this
you you got to think about your audience first for this, of course.
for sure. So there's a segment of viewers like me who are drawn to these sorts of videos and appreciate this. And personally, I see you and a lot of the people that do this as defenders of civil rights in this country. Not to put too fine a point on it, but I think what you guys do is largely a good thing. Um, there's another segment of people, and I'm sure you see these people in the comments who say, this guy is just hassling this cop for no reason. Why not just give up your ID? These officers have better things to do.
Yeah.
Let them be done with you and then move on to the next thing. And there's a lot of people that feel that way because that's what a lot of people do, right? They just give up their ID.
Yeah.
And so when if you were to have a conversation with somebody like that and try to convince them that what you're doing is important or necessary, what would you say?
Mm. Yeah, I don't know. They make some. I don't think you can change their minds.
Yeah.
They're pretty set in their ways the way they look at this. You look at these troll channels. I miss the Schrodinger's cats. That was an old channel. This guy died at age 44,
Oh, wow.
and he had quite a following of these trolls that would just want to punish. Throw the guy in jail, throw away his key, throw away the key. Or just obey. There's the crowds. They love to group together and support each other on how people should be oppressed,
Mm.
how the law needs to be followed, cops shouldn't be questioned. Yeah, you can't stay the way the internet has formed now, right? People have chosen bunkers to go into. It's kind of like with lawyers, like prosecutors have their organization, they have their annual meetings,
Mhm.
and then the defense lawyers have their own annual meetings, and they don't mix, they don't intermix. They form their bunkers, and those bunkers have. And I think a lot of these, like Schrodinger's cats or the Frauditor. There's some guy called
I've
Frauditor
seen that.
Troll.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, they have their own their strong groups where they support each other on this. I think there a lot of them are prosecutors. They just they want to stay in this mind frame of of oppressing other people. How do you change their minds? I don't know what your reader base is exactly, but to be able to change their mind, you want to change their minds, huh? It's
Well, it's not that I want to change anybody's mind. I'm just curious as to like
I
if you were having
I
a
don't
conversation with somebody who
I
was
don't want
on
to change. What's that?
uh,
I'm sorry.
no, all good. I know you're not out there trying to change minds, is what you're saying, right?
No.
Yeah. So I'm saying like if you had to have a conversation with somebody who was like on the fence about these videos and like
Oh,
saw both
okay.
sides of it, what would you say to that
Yeah.
person?
Yeah, I would just say this is for entertainment on YouTube and stuff.
Mhm.
I tell people a lot. Bad cops are great for YouTube. So just like bad criminals are great for YouTube. I'm just like, let's keep the entertainment going. we don't need to start a war on this. It is a lot of entertainment value in itself. But I mean, I have this criminal case that's active too. And I'm trying to stay out of jail, so I do want support. And
Mhm.
yeah, if there is somebody on the fence who I want to try to convince to support me, maybe say, I don't know, if they were on the jury or something, and they had to decide if I go to jail or not. Yeah, I would definitely want to change their mind in some way. What do I say? uh, I'd go into detail. I'd have to go into detail about the facts and the law.
Mhm.
Um, I can't really, you can't in the court. You can't really change the Constitution. You can't really fight the Constitution when you're trying to defend yourself in court. On a small scale, it's got to go up to U.S. Supreme Court level to have
Mhm.
any lasting major changes happen. Like you probably know if you read comments how people are not happy with Terry v. Ohio and the stop and frisk policies of the cops, which goes back to the 60s,
Mhm.
where cops have been kind of they've been stretching their privileges with the stop and frisk. Just there needs to be probable cause for this stop and frisk policies to kick in, or for probable cause to make an arrest, to
Mhm.
make a detainment. There's steps there. Cops are kind of overstepping that,
Mhm.
and some people have to push back, but yeah, how do you convince people to push back? Some people, it's such a complicated. It can be kind of complicated to and you want to simplify that as best you can. You want to help even the person who's not really into. I'm not really into legal topics so much. There's some people who could sit all day
Mhm.
watching these legal discussions, and good at my lawyer, he's really into the deep legal topics. I don't like to go so deep into them. I'd rather just travel around and enjoy nature, sit in a park all day. But yeah, to convince them, something has to happen to themselves. They need to find it within themselves. They need to actually have a cop come up to them and start harassing them in a way that's maybe put them in handcuffs, throw them to the ground a little bit. These may be people who have not actually experienced real oppression. Uh, there are definitely, because people have said in comments that they could go their whole life without having a cop interaction. So people have openly admitted on my comments that they're surprised that I get so many cop interactions, um, because they never get any,
Mhm.
and a lot of times these people may not leave their town,
Mhm.
so
Yeah.
they have that.
And so the
Yeah,
reason, I mean, I don't want to put words in your mouth, but the reason that you feel it's important to sort of put up this fight is just out of necessity because of your lifestyle. You encounter police so much.
yeah. I get annoyed. I got annoyed by the cops asking me all the personal questions about where I'm coming from and where I'm going, and I don't like I sit there and answer all their questions. I want more of a. It doesn't feel right to me. I want more of a I want to create more of a conversational tone with them.
Mhm.
I like to learn about their town, their city. Maybe I can learn a little something from them. They're like ambassadors to me. But yeah, I to sit there and just answer. I want to. I don't think cops respect weakness.
Mm.
I think cops are they're emotional themselves.
Mhm.
I think they like to see some strength in the person that they're talking to, and I want to demonstrate that with a physical presence, and then also commanding in my tone of voice as well with them. There's a lot of weak people who look like victims,
Mhm.
and and I've studied Chinese face reading. Like, there's a little interesting thing that the Chinese face readers say about your eyes. If you can
Mm.
see underneath the whites, if you can see the white part of your eyes underneath,
Mhm.
like the pupil is raised up, it looks like you're in fear. It has, and there's people that naturally have that white under their eyes. It looks like a natural fear,
Okay.
and predators prey on that, and they take advantage. They'll I don't predators prey on that fear.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't want to demonstrate any fear to the cops. And after all this practice, I really don't. Well, I do have some fear actually. I do get nervous, but I'm not as nervous because I make sure a camera is near me. I make sure that documenting relieves some pressure, relieves some stress on my part, being able to document as much as I can. If this was just a back and forth with no cameras, I would be a little more scared because I know that cops can lie. They can make up things that don't happen. And prosecutors too, not just the cops. The prosecutors get a little bit more time to think about the types of lies they want to use in a case against you, like it's happened in Natchitoches, Louisiana.
Mm-hmm.
They build on the cops' lies.
Mm-hmm.
It's a piggybacking of lies, and then the judge on top of that, he'll pick and choose the lies he likes the most.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just, yeah, it starts with the cops, and it could start with the complainants. Actually, it starts with the complainant possibly, and then the cop, and then so on. So I don't know what was your question
No,
again?
that
I'm sorry.
that answered it. Um, have you ever had a cop or a city official or someone who you had a negative interaction with reach out to you later to either tell you to screw off or apologize?
Oh yeah, yeah. I've been called a POS multiple times by Jesse Cruz. I know it was him. Colorado Trucker 2008. I know it was him.
Who's Jesse Cruz?
He's a cop that arrested me in Williston, North Dakota.
Uh-huh.
I know. I learned. I mean, I learned. He told me all about his job history as we were driving to the jail. He was telling me he was an old truck. He was a trucker. He's hauling oil stuff. So, because I was asking him those questions, trying to learn as much as I could,
Mm-hmm.
because that's a critical time when you're that first interaction with the cops. That's a critical time to learn as much as you can about them.
Mm-hmm.
Because after that, you're not going to be able to you're not going to contact them again until your trial,
Mm-hmm.
or maybe depose them. But it's very critical in that moment upon meeting for the first time. Meeting because there was a complaint. You want to learn as much as I want to learn as much as I can about them.
Mm-hmm.
Because there's been some incidents, and especially at night, uh, where I may not even be able to see the cop's face. They don't tell me their name, and something weird happened in the city between me and them, and that's all I could use there,
Mm-hmm.
because night cops get away with a little bit more
Mm-hmm.
than day cops. Yeah, I mean, there's a day shift is like the political shift for cops, because all these eyes see them when they're performing their duties, as opposed to night cops. They get away with a little bit more. But yeah, I know some cops, and some cops have also filed privacy complaints on my videos with them, like a couple, one in Idaho, another in Utah.
I
They
saw the
filed.
one where you blurred out the faces of those two black cops. I think you were in like
Yeah,
Mississippi or something. Yeah.
I think my title triggered YouTube when I said, "Oh, these guys wouldn't give me permission, but I'm posting it anyway." I think YouTube just kind of looked at the title and
Yeah.
said, "Delete." And I'm not questioning YouTube; they are in charge of their platform. Whatever they decide, I'll go with.
Yeah, that one triggered the algorithm.
I think the trolls notified the cops that
Uh-huh.
this video existed. The cops immediately filed privacy complaints, and then YouTube looks at it and sees right on the title. And it depends on who's in the YouTube's the seat for the YouTube. I don't know, the dispute section
Sure.
in YouTube. Whoever's sitting in that seat at the time, they might be a little bit more pro cop, but protecting of cops. there's personalities within YouTube.
Sure.
Uh, and I've had some videos that were, I think, maybe questionable that stayed up, and other videos of the same questionable nature that were removed. So
Yeah.
I think it comes down to kind of the individual too at YouTube. But yeah, I really don't post anywhere else either, because YouTube's kind of my main source of income,
Yeah.
and I haven't really generated anywhere else. I post to Facebook sometimes, and Twitter a little bit, to TikTok a little bit, try to shorten the video to maybe a small segments of
Yeah.
some interesting back and forth, and then I post that to TikTok. Um, but yeah, they'll even the cops who are I had a nice interaction with, sometimes they'll let me, they'll comment on the video too. It's both. It's, yeah, with a bad interaction. So yeah, you're right. They will comment. They'll let you know that they won't specifically give their name. They'll come in as an anonymous person and give you hints that it's they'll give me a hard time,
Yeah.
and you kind of have to just um, you kind of figure out if it's them or not. Sometimes I can't, but I really angered Coquille, Oregon, and I have this one cop since 2017 who's been my personal troll throughout all these years, just on my Twitter, on all my YouTube channels, on my Facebook too, I believe.
How do you know it's them?
They give hints. There's hints. One guy. It's just, it doesn't take too many. It's just one person who's highly motivated. It just maybe use sock accounts too.
Mhm.
Yeah, how do I know it's them? Yeah, it can be hard to tell. How do I mean, I ask questions as best I can, but they just don't answer quite. They just want to give their troll statements a lot of times, and yeah, I leave it at that. But some are like, there's one that's somewhat consistent. I've actually kind of blocked one guy on Twitter, so I don't know what they're saying. I block some because they repeat. One guy repeats, "Oh, I don't believe you were in the military. Let's see your documents that prove you're in the military." They question some things I say about myself that I did in the past.
Mhm.
Um, and I don't really care about what they if they don't think I was ever in the military or not. I find it now. It took me a few years. I find it now amusing when they want to question about the child pornography issue. I'll say, just talk to the Race Lake police. They got the reports.
Mhm.
Ask them.
Mhm.
But that may not be something you want to talk about on Washington Post. That gets people riled up too. Because trolls are used that a lot. They used it in 2016 when I was in Idaho City, Idaho. They convinced some biker guy to come to the library to hunt me down and beat me up. But another guy stood up for me in and I was upstairs, they were downstairs, so I only heard it.
Yeah.
I could hear a little yelling, but it settled down and this biker guy went away.
Wow.
But that's a touchy issue. Um, uh, I tro- it, I've had I get some over the years. There's been maybe 2 or 3 trolls that'll just stick with me and try to um, get into very personal things with me. Um, and one early in 2014 to about 2017, he just stopped.
Mhm.
Sometimes they fizzle out. And he was the first troll I ever had. He had me convinced that that he that he was gonna like hunt me down. He was coming to my city, wherever I was, the next city I was visiting. And he was gonna hunt me down and run me over or something. And I don't think he was a cop.
Mhm.
I think there are just regular people who just have this predatory instinct about them.
Mhm.
They just and I post a lot about myself, but I'm not scared. I'm not some young blonde girl who's just there's a lot more to be scared of
Mhm.
for certain people than others. And I'm, as an older person, I'm confident in my health and demeanor, and I can take a little bit more controversy than other people can.
Mhm.
Just,
Yeah.
a lot of people wonder why I'm not maybe suicidal, and I don't know. My worst moment was when I got a really bad sickness, a stomach flu. I was like, if I had a gun, that would be it.
Mhm.
It was just a real the lowest, one of the lowest moments, and it's sickness. So we have our up and downs.
Yeah,
So
yeah, yeah. What years were you in the military?
that was 95 to 99.
Okay. And so did you, and so where did you end up serving?
I was a cop in the Air Force,
Okay.
and yeah, I got around. I actually traveled around the country, or traveled around the world, for like various missions, and I thought that was kind of neat. But it was mostly in a plane flying
Uh-huh.
across the Pacific for 16 hours.
Uh-huh.
It wasn't really much, but yeah, I understand cops a little bit. I went through the training, and that's what people could use, is a little cop training, so they don't fear the cops as much. That may be why I don't have as much fear, because I have that training. I've arrested people,
Mhm.
and on a military base,
Mhm.
like in Kadena Air Force Base. But this is only within that almost 5 year time frame, as a very low level cop, pretty much more of a gate guard, and uh, guarding planes on that level, not so much in the deep in the ghettos, like some have to some people spend deep, in Las Vegas, or the big cities. I'm moving up kind of north, be passing Chicago, but
Mhm.
I'm gonna keep my distance from there. But the the types of situations that cops face in big cities is different than on military bases. And you've probably seen, you probably are aware of News Now Houston. He's in jail uh, over the accusations with his, messing with having relations, too close of relations with his own daughter.
Oh, I didn't know that.
He's spending 20. Yeah, you may not know. He's out of the news cycle now because he's got 20 years in jail over this rape allegation.
Wow.
Earl, his name. I don't know if you're writing down. Oh, you're just playing at the plug. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, um, yeah. There's
I've never heard of that channel. Is he an auditor?
new. Yeah, he was an auditor. Yeah, you probably never heard of Eric Brandt. He's got 10 years in jail now
Mhm.
over all his protesting in the Denver, Colorado region,
Okay.
because he wished for a cop to have his brains blown out, and he communicated that on camera, and the judge feared for his life, because he
Wow.
thought maybe. So that was all he had to say.
Yeah.
I wish for this judge to have his brains blown out. 15. He was sentenced to 10 or 15 years in
Wow.
jail.
Wow.
And then Earl, yeah, there's some guys kind of similar to me, who have ended up in jail. They're currently in jail over things they said.
Mhm.
And because there's a limit to the First Amendment. There's
For sure.
you can't threaten people.
Yeah.
Um, but also, the News Now Houston. This is an old charge. This from the 80s or 90s, where he had relations with his daughter. His daughter was a complainant, and because maybe if he wasn't doing the auditing around jails, around air bases, and posting videos of him of his approaches with cops and stuff, challenging their authority. This old charge of his with his daughter may not have surfaced so much.
Yeah.
So there, if you're gonna be like an auditor, if you're gonna go out there and challenge cops, you may want to have a clean record,
Yeah.
because they'll really dig. Those trolls will dig for old anything. They'll dig for anything
Yeah.
they can use to. They'll
Travis.
solicit.
Mhm.
I think I've had family members contacted I don't really talk to my family. I never created my own family. As all the family I came from, and I think like my sisters, mom, dad, some trolls have told me things about my family that not many. I don't think many people would know.
Wow.
I think there's a lot of investigators out there, private investigators, who is people with general curiosity about others, especially people who are posting on social media. There may be a deeper curiosity that other people may have than others, and
Yeah.
other people have the skills. There's people who really have some good investigative skills
Yeah.
that they may not be putting to the best use, but if it amuses them, I guess I can't stop them
Yeah.
from investigating me.
Travis, let me ask you, um, how many times have you sued after police encounters?
Zero.
Okay. And so you haven't made any money from settlements or anything?
No, no.
Mm.
Uh,
And
if
so everything.
I kind of attempted in Boise, Idaho, back in 2016. I asked around, and I was told I should have gone to the hospital to have any significant lawsuits. So
Gotcha.
I just gave up after that.
And so how much money like per day do you make from YouTube plus what people contribute?
Yeah, it's very small. So I'm just living for the gas money pretty
Mhm.
much. This month it's maybe 600 or $700 for the month. It's gotten up to maybe 3,000 for a month or so.
Mhm.
That's up and down. So you got to level it off for the year, try to
Mhm.
balance to average it out. So I spend for the lower amounts. I try to not spend much money just because I know that even though I may be up in views because of a particular cop incident, and it's largely driven by cop incidences.
Yeah.
I can't seem to get any interest in anything else I do. So it's the cop incidents that cause the wide fluctuation in my earnings. And when it happens, when it's up, I can buy an extra camera. I got like 5 GoPros now,
Mhm.
I'll keep them ready as often as I can. But yeah, it's I don't sue. I don't make a lot. I'm not really. Yeah, I just I was visiting food banks for a long time, and I think I'll be going back to them with the way the food prices are going up now.
Mhm.
So
Mhm.
yeah, it's like I kind of am reliant on, if an incident happens, uh, then I'll communicate that to other people and see if maybe I could get help for that particular incident, like an arrest. Maybe the car breaks down,
Sure.
and I need a little help. I'm not asking for any help because I don't need it. I don't have any health issues. The car's fine right now. Uh, yeah, the only time I really asked for money, it was this Louisiana incident. Usually I get a free lawyer. Every other state I've gotten a free lawyer,
Mhm.
but I got totally denied in Louisiana. And it's like I could have just accepted what they decided for me and leave it at that. But because I have an audience that supports me, I reach out to them and they support. They've paid for this lawyer, so I continue to fight based on the type of support I'm getting.
Mhm.
Um, and they'll fund these critical moments. It's like I don't want to say I like have that, like that money's in reserve and I know it's there for any special incidents. But it does. There's people who've said, if you ever need help, just ask, and I'll give you. I've had incidents. I've had encounters with people just on the street. Sometimes it's very rare, but somebody will walk up to me and say, "Hey, you're Travis Heinze from the YouTube," and it's very rare. But some people have given me money, just handed me money,
Wow.
just because of my videos, and they recognize me. And they sometimes some pay attention to my travel channel, so they know more. specifically where I'm at the time, and they'll actually look for me
Uh-huh.
sometimes. It just says maybe a little game they play or something.
What is your
See
travel
if
channel called?
well, it's called Budget Travels with Travis Heinze. All my channels have my name
Okay.
on them. So yeah, I've the recent one. I went into the mall. Just and it's an abandoned mall. I went inside an abandoned mall and walked around. I've been in a few abandoned malls, been in buildings in general, houses. I like to do that, to check them
I
out.
love abandoned stuff. Yeah, I love some of the ghost towns that you find out in Colorado.
There's the ghost. There's been some abandoned buildings. I can't quite think of. There's some nice ski villages in Colorado.
That are abandoned?
Abandoned. There's not really abandoned. Okay. Um, the old mining towns.
Mm,
There's some that are really like half abandoned. It's amazing.
it's very cool.
There's
Yeah.
yeah, it's very cool. Yeah, yeah, it's very cool. But it has a different feel. It's a different experience walking around an old abandoned mining town in Colorado in the Rocky Mountains compared to an old abandoned town on the Mississippi River.
Yeah.
There's a very different feel there.
Yeah.
It just
I
how they
like the
yeah they
videos of people taking, like, drones through abandoned malls and factories and stuff.
yeah yeah I try to fly my drone where I can where it's safe.
Yeah.
Um, so there's I got a little tiny. You have a drone yourself?
No, I don't. No, I just love
Oh,
drone video.
okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're fun to play with. Yeah. They're a great tool for traveling. Yeah. Yeah, I like to just get out there and look at the different places. I mean, there's things you just don't know to ask the right questions about until you get there. You
Mhm.
got to get the like I would have never asked if crawfish were raised in the rice fields until I saw the crawfish traps in Louisiana and in the southern part of Louisiana. They raise crawfish in their rice fields. I would have never thought to ask that.
Yeah. Yeah.
And yeah, I drove past these fields and I found it very interesting.
Yeah.
And I've eaten a crawfish. I was stationed in um, Barksdale Air Force Base in Shreveport. My lawyer works in Shreveport, but I was stationed there in about '95.
Okay.
It's a nuke base, and they fly B-52s, and yeah, I was just like a gate guard there.
Okay.
Yeah, I've experienced some Louisiana culture while I was in the military, but it's different. You know, there's still I still stayed mostly on the base, so
Yeah.
it's still mostly the military culture, and then walled off from the outside culture. And I only got bits and I don't know little bites of the culture at times outside of the base. So
Yeah. Well, um, I just had one more question for you.
all right.
And I know it's about to cut us off soon, I think in like 10 minutes or something.
Oh, I see. Yeah, remaining
How much does it say remaining?
650.
Oh, okay. Um, I was wondering, and fully recognize that this is a personal question, and I would like you to tell me that you don't want to answer it if you don't want to answer it.
Oh,
But
sure. Okay.
have you ever taken like have you ever had like a mental health assessment or been diagnosed with like a
Um,
mental health disorder?
yeah, yeah. I almost didn't get into the Air Force
Mhm.
because I said I was okay with my mother. They asked, "Do you love your mother? Are you okay with your mother? Do you hate your mother?" It was a psychological evaluation. They asked the first week or so.
Yeah.
I said I'm okay with her. Suddenly, I need to talk to a doctor. You gotta love your mother.
To be in the Air
So
Force.
yeah, I've come from a broken family.
Okay.
So yeah, it influenced how I live. I live very in the far in the northern part of Wisconsin, a small town.
Mhm.
I kept to myself a lot. Got to get through those winters. It can drive you crazy, cabin fever. I don't, where are you? where am I talking to you out of
So
here?
I'm in Annapolis, Maryland, and
Oh,
hold on,
okay.
and I'm from Silver Spring, Maryland. This is
So
uh,
you,
this is
okay,
outside
you're
here. We're on we're, we're
yeah.
we're on the water here. I don't know if you can see the water.
Oh, the ocean?
Yeah, well, no, we're on the
Oh
Chesapeake
yeah,
Bay. Chesapeake Bay.
Chesapeake. Oh, okay.
Oh, you can see it better from my wife's office. Yeah. Yep.
Find my own motivation. I've gotten fired from jobs quite a bit.
Mm-hmm.
I don't. I'm not great at working with people. I'm not the I'm not the smart. I'll say I graduated with a 1.8 GPA in high school,
Mm-hmm.
so I'm not. Even though I later after the military I got a college degree in business administration. Um, I still struggled through college too. I
It,
just I'm not the most social, so yeah. There's something I may have gotten hit on my head a few times. I remember one incident. Yeah, as a kid I did uh, like lose consciousness. So
but you've never been diagnosed with anything.
actually, like take I've never been prescribed anything.
Mm-hmm.
I've never gone to for a treatment. No, it's yeah, that would be something that people would want to know. How is a person getting so many cop interactions not like sane, not
Oh well,
you
I
know?
don't think I don't feel that you're crazy because you know crazy is not the right word. I don't ask that question because you encounter the police a lot. Uh,
Okay,
but you know my sister-in-law studies autism,
okay, yeah, I probably have that.
and I've
And I was raised on a high amount of sugar. My mom is overweight, is obese,
uh-huh,
and she fed me a lot of like just I was a fat kid. You look at my cousins, they had big strong jaws and slender bodies.
uh-huh,
I had a small jaw, chubby, and a fat stomach as a kid, 5 years old.
yeah,
I was not fed a proper diet
mm-hmm,
when I was a kid, and I did have a foggy mind.
mm-hmm,
I had some health problems, and I think that that's just kind of spilled over into my adulthood.
mm-hmm.
I think that nutritionally, I could have, I was struggling. But I mean, there's people out there that start out on a bad foot and can turn things around. I don't know. I've just kind of tried to plan out. I like to look at people. See, there's not there's a very low percentage of people are into like exercise and weightlifting and fitness.
Mm-hmm.
I turn to that as my primary source of like
Like
stress
an
relief.
outlet, yeah,
An outlet, yeah, that's my outlet. But it's not. It seems like it's kind of a rare outlet for people, and so I'm kind of weird uh, how I deal with with things. It's yeah, I turn to physical. I like to challenge myself physically a
mm-hmm,
lot.
mm-hmm.
That may be weird. I've had cops called on me for my exercise
Oh,
sticks.
I've seen those videos, yeah,
Yeah, it's because I'm trying different things with exercise, and
yeah, yeah.
yeah, it looks like I have weapons, I guess. But yeah, I look at things a little differently in a lot of ways. I swear off of sugar. I don't know. There's people that say sugar is not that bad. You just gotta look, just eat it in small amounts. But I'm sugar extracts. I
Yeah.
call drugs.
Do
Okay.
you drink coffee?
No, I'm done with coffee.
Yeah.
That's a little hard on my heart. I'm too wound up for coffee. So if I get tired, I'll just take a nap.
Yeah.
That's the convenience of being a bum. I get tired, just lay down and sleep. I don't have any obligations.
Yeah.
So and I kind of hold back on looking for any serious work because what if the next cop interaction I get arrested and I gotta go through a whole the court system again? It's nice to have that time and
Yeah.
it's nice to have the free time to be able to do that.
Well, I was
And
talking
then
to I interviewed Philip Turner for this story. Are you familiar with him?
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay.
And he was
Yep.
saying that he has started doing his videos less frequently because he has a job that, and a career, and like he can't spend a night in jail, basically.
Oh, okay. Yeah, there's people like that. Yeah.
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 Um, well, Travis, I know
Go
it's
ahead.
gonna end soon, but
Okay.
I just wanted to say thank you so much. I really appreciate your videos, and personally,
Oh,
I went
go
through
ahead.
I went through a nasty interaction with a police officer that sort of um, led me to a lot of these videos, and so
Oh,
so
yeah.
they've been very educational. Hey, Travis, sorry about that.
Okay.
Um, but
Okay.
I just wanted to say, thank you for what you do. I really appreciate it, and I will let you know when I finish my story and send you a link to it. And
Oh, yeah, yeah.
if you ever make it out to Maryland, drop in and
Uh-huh.
we'll have some crabs or have some lunch out back.
And that'll get me. I'll get through the paywall. I saw you guys have a paywall.
Yeah, so you get a certain number of free articles.
Oh, okay.
If you can't read it, just tell me and I'll send you a link that doesn't require a subscription.
Okay. All right. Sounds good.
All right, thanks, Travis.
All right. Have a good day.
You too.